My name is Jordan, and in the next few minutes we are going to learn about how a synthesizer works. Now, understanding a bit about synthesizers is great because so much of our music today uses synthesizers, and it can be mystifying to understand or even imagine what these things are that make these sounds that we hear. So we're going to learn a little bit about how sound works, and then we're going to talk about synthesizers using this Korg littleBits kit. So to start off, this is the Bill Nye explanation of sound. I've got a little bit of air between my hands over here, and when I force them together quickly, we get this clap. And what's happening is I'm forcing all the air out of here. It's now moving, and it eventually hits my ears, and I hear a sound. Now, to transfer this over to the synthesizer, we start off with a source of electricity. It's an electronic instrument. It has this reservoir of electricity and this piece called the oscillator. And what the oscillator does is it takes that reservoir and it just gives it out in little spurts, kind of like the hand claps. And we can think of this whole thing like a voice. This oscillator is like our vocal cords, which produce the sound which eventually comes out of our mouth. And of course, we need a loudspeaker, which is going to vibrate the air, and that is eventually what we're going to hear. We've got this little loudspeaker plugged into bigger loudspeakers just because we want to hear it and actually sound good. But we plug this all together, and we get these little pulses just like the hand claps. Now, as I turn this up, this is going to start to sound like a pitch. And as I increase it, it goes to the low frequencies and the mid-range frequencies, and it gets higher and higher. And that's like the vocal cords in this thing, which we're going to call the electronic voice. And the oscillator is a first key component, but just like when we're speaking, we also have our cheeks and our lips and our mouth, which form all of the sounds from our vocal cords into the sounds that we hear. And one of the ones that's really easy to demonstrate this with is when we go wow, wow, wow. Because what we're doing is we're creating this filter with our lips that's closing and opening. We go wow, wow, wow. And I'm going to show you now how with the filter on the synthesizer we can do that. Right now it sounds a lot like it did before, but now as I close the filter, it's almost like covering our ears. We lose a lot of the sparkly higher frequencies, and if I go up and down quickly, it's like going wow, wow, wow. And we hear that sort of sound a lot with synthesizers. It gives it a certain character, and a lot of music, even like dubstep, for example, uses these basses that go whoa, 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 that wobble like that. And when we understand synthesizers a bit, it can help us appreciate some of that musicality in electronic music, which in more traditional forms of music wasn't there when we just listened for melodies. Now we can listen for this certain character and the voice of a particular synthesizer. So that's a synthesizer in a nutshell. We have a form of electricity, we have an oscillator which is giving pulses, we have a filter which is sculpting and shaping the sound, and of course we have a loudspeaker which is vibrating the air and hopefully eventually giving us some real enjoyment out of listening to what this thing's making. I'm Jordan, thanks a lot for listening, and I hope you've learned something about synthesizers.